It's the return of my Brawl-o-ween series from last October, and this year I'm going to kick things off with a new variation of Vampire deck. But rather than recycle my black and red Vampire deck from last year, I'm going to go ahead and go into mono black with my Nosferatu deck, featuring the Haunt of Hightower. This was a buy a box promo from Ravnica Allegiant a few years back, and it makes for a great vampire commander, so let's take a look. The Haunt of Hightower, for 4 black black, you get a 3/3 vampire with flying and lifelink, and that is very important. And then whenever it attacks, defending player discards a card, and whenever a card goes to an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, this thing gets one bigger. It gets a counter. And it's great. You make them discard, they discard on their own, they cast spells, a creature dies, you name it, this thing gets bigger. So let's take a look at some of the cards. These are new cards that didn't exist last year when I was building my vampire decks in the first column I'm going to talk about, starting with Vran, Executioner Thane. It's just a great way to trigger and do little pings of damage. It's the super blood artist. And it's a vampire, so it does things with our vampire synergies. We have Mithril Coat, which is great with the commander because we need to keep it alive. So we can flash this in, attach it immediately, and it makes it indestructible against any kind of direct removal or board wipes. We also have Kalidas, Trader of Get. This was introduced in one of the anthologies here earlier in the springtime, and it's a really good card too. Now, I learned this while I was playing the deck. It is a non-bow with the Haunt of Hightower because what happens is the card gets exiled and then you don't get the trigger on the Haunt. So depending on what your board state is, you may or may not want to play this in the deck or play it out if you are playing it. So you kind of have to watch for what's going on before you put this card out. We also have Well of Lost Dreams. This was introduced in the Brothers War, and since we have so much going on with lifelink and life drain triggers and stuff like this, it actually works out really well for card draw because then you just pay a little extra as you go along and draw cards off of it. And then we also have Voldaran Pariah. This was introduced in the Shadows over Innistrad set back in March, so this wasn't around last year. But this works really good with the Haunt as well because you can sacrifice 3 other creatures, flip it over, and it makes them sacrifice 3 creatures also. So then your Haunt of Hightower gets 3 bigger and they lose their 3 creatures. So this is kind of fun with the deck. And then in this column is things that I'm playing exclusively because I'm playing the Haunt of Hightower. So we have Vona's Hunger. Each opponent sacrifices a creature for 3, but if you have the City's Blessing at 10 permanents and you get the Ascend trigger to go off, they lose half of their creatures rounded up. So it just makes them go, oh, oops, we're just going to nuke, 3 out of your 6 creatures off the board and gives me 3 triggers for the Haunt. So it works out really nicely. Arterial Flow works well with vampires to drain them when you cast it, but it also makes them lose 2 cards out of their hand to make the Haunt 2 bigger. Oppression. This was just printed in the Wilds of Eldraine Enchanted Tale slot. This is an old card from the original Urza block, actually. And whenever a player casts a spell, they discard a card. Now, this applies to you as well. But as they're trying to cast things to keep ahead of you and what you're doing, you're just going to make the Haunt of Hightower bigger and bigger and bigger as they're just trying to cast into it. And then we also have Torment of Scarabs. It's a Aura Curse to go with on our opponents, and they have a choice. They can lose 3 life, they can discard a card, or they can sacrifice a non-land permanent. But it's either they get burned for 3, or they make the Haunt of Hightower bigger. And then we also have, in the same vein, Torment of Hailfire. Now, I'm not a great fan of Torment of Hailfire in Commander. I hate this card. I think it's kind of cheesy as a win con. But in Arena, I'm not as big of a naysayer on it because of one simple reason. We don't have Cabal Coffers in the format. Now, if Cabal Coffers ever gets introduced, then yeah, this card's just going to be stupid. But until that happens, this is not that big a deal. You cannot generate enough mana to really make this do stupid things unless you're in like a black-green shell where you can like double up your mana and stuff like that. So the cool thing about this is if they are low on permanence or low on a hand to discard, you can just burn them with, a torment for 5. And it's like, okay, take 15, lose your board, and if you lose your board, you make the Haunt of Hightower bigger. I mean, it's a win-win any way you cut it for us when we cast this spell. So that's what I got in the deck. The rest of the stuff's going to be in the description below for the deck list. Let's get into the gameplay. It's Agatha. Let's see how they got their build. I have a build for this that's coming in the Brawl-o-ween videos. Actually, I have 2 builds. I'm trying to figure out which one I like better. Yeah, we'll keep this. This is a good aggressive start hand. So we'll do Gifted Aetherborn into Bloodcaster unless I get something better on the 3-drop side. Liberator, you say? Alright, well, we'll just go ahead and swing this. I'm quite okay with that dying. Rebels. Ugh. Alright. Let's just go with Bloodcaster and swing. Because again, I don't care if that Liberator dies. We're a couple turns away from invoking Despair, which would kill the Cabaretti Rebels. The bad part is now it's going to give them like a board full of stuff to work with. That has Ward 2, so I can't just hit it with Finale of Eternity either. They were looking at my Bloodcaster. They might have a 1-mana red burn spell in their hand. Yeah, let's go ahead and hit them with the Arterial Flow. Half their hand and gain some life while we're at it. Alright, we're just gonna keep turning them sideways, because why not? No, they're valuing their creatures, and we've gone up 9 life, so whatever you say. Alright, so they played a Chromatic Lantern, and now they're playing Agatha, so they're gonna get another Cabaretti Rebels. I don't know if we're invoking. I think I'm going to do a Finality of Eternity next turn. I'm going to hit Agatha, the Jungle Delver, and something else. Maybe. Oh, we have Crux, too. I would reset all their board, because I don't want to use the Invoke yet. I'd rather, you know, let's do this. Let's just full swing. Alright, so there goes the Delver. It doesn't matter, because I'm going to wipe the board. Because this needs to go away. Too much stuff. And I'd rather have the Finality of Eternity for when I get the Haunt down on the board, because then I can use the Haunt in it to get it 3 bigger. Same with Invoke Despair. Okay, so Sauron doesn't do me a ton of good. Neither does that. I guess for now, let's just play Sauron and up it. I don't want to, I can't even plus that stupid thing. Or it has another plus. What am I thinking? I was thinking that was a minus ability. I was like, wait. You can tell I don't use that version of Sauron very often. We're not discarding either card right now, because I really do not want to. It'd be nice to get a big vampire in my hand. Speaking of which, let's see here. Do I just kill? No. I think, yeah, right now I think it's just Westgate Regent, put a counter on it. Really wish we could have got the Haunt down that turn, but we're not drawing lands now. Oh, goodness. That's dangerous. That card has kicked my butt so many different times now. It's it kind of scares me. Alright. Because I can't kill it. I can Finale for the 2 other cards. Crap. More crap. Alright. we're going to do the Haunt. We're going to put another counter on the Westgate Regent, because the Regent can get really big here. Plus, we're gaining the life off of it. So we're going to gain 6. It's going to go to 12, and then we have the Haunt, plus we have the Finality of Eternity, plus we have Invoke Despair. Regardless, we can get either 2 or 3 counters on the Haunt of Hightower, actually up to 4 if we use the Invoke Despair, because the Invoke is going to kill the Cabaret Revels or the Guardian Project, one of their creatures, and they're going to have to discard a card too. Or no. No, they lose 2 life, we draw a card. That's what it is. I'm mixing my cards up. That's a problem. No mana. But they can activate Captivating Crew at this point. That's dangerous. It might have been a good thing that we actually were able to gain the life, because that's 12, because they can steal our Westgate Regent with the Captivating Crew, untap it, swing with Agatha. That's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 19, 20, 21, 32 damage. No, they can't swing with these 2. Never mind. Take 7 off of that. 25 damage. But that's also kind of a dangerous thing, because if they don't have a way to sacrifice that Westgate Regent, I get to crack back with it. So... Alright, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, they have no way of sacrificing it, so it's like, okay. And it's like, even if they had, like, a reach creature, I have the Finale to rip it out. And what's funny is they just put the Westgate up to 24. And, you know, I could be a real jerk and do the thing, but I'm not going to do the thing. I'm just going to hit them for 24. Like, screw it. Sorry about that. My brain is like, I'm not even remembering what some of these cards do. Polukranos Reborn. All right, let's see what they got. I've only run across this deck a couple of different times, and I think I've lost both times. Not sure. Can't remember. It's been a while. But we're going to go Swamp and Night on turn 1. I like to hang on to the Agadeem's Awakening until I absolutely have to use it as a land, because I don't want to miss dropping in a 3-drop, whether that's going to be the removal or the Faceless Agent, or something else that we draw in the next couple of turns. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll go with that. Go ahead and attack. We did get our 3rd land drop. So depending on what they do here, it's probably just going to be the Faceless Agent. I don't think I'm going to... let's go ahead and swing. Let's see what they got, because the game held up for, you know, a couple seconds. I'm not gonna pump it, because then they'll hit it with a Swords to Plowshares in response or something. Give me a vampire. Okay, well, there's a Vran. I have yet to draw him, so I will take it. The Oran Reef Ooze. Okay. Let's do... You know what? Let's just load there. We have so many, like, life drain vampires in this deck right now, or in my hand. It's like, let's just drop them. Like, every dying vampire right now is worth 3 life out of them, so I'm kind of okay with that. And we'll just go ahead and take the hit. I'm not that concerned yet. Okay. We have Falcon Wrath Noble, so there's another Pinger. coming for him. So we're just going to smack him around. I'm not going to use the Agadeem's Awakening as a land this turn because I'm afraid they're going to Wrath the board. Though, if they do Wrath this board, it's going to hurt a lot. It actually would be kind of comical for this board to explode. No blocks. We'll take that hit. Oh, shoot. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. Marrow-Gnawer. All right, we got rats. I'm gonna keep it because we're going second. If we were going first, I probably wouldn't have kept this because we have the chance to get the second swamp to do the Gifted Aetherborn on the second turn. Though at this point, we could just Shieldred's Edict a rat colony away because these rat decks don't know how to play anything but rat colonies. And it's like, newsflash, there's other ways to play rat decks than playing rat colony. Alright. We'll go ahead and do this. Black. No attacks. We'll wait. It could be a case of I just need to wipe this board right away next turn. Yep. So yeah, we're gonna block here. We'll just basically negate the damage, stop them from drawing an extra card, and I'm just gonna crux this board into the ground because yeah. All non-dragons. I'm sure they have a bunch of rats. There's probably gonna be 2 rat colonies coming down this turn. Okay, that and a rat colony. Again, it's like I'm a psychic. It's fine because I don't have anything else for it to do. Let's go ahead and just drop this because I'm sure Marrow-Gnawer is coming. Oh no, it's Pack Rat. Okay. And a Tangled Colony. Alright, so no, Marrow-Gnawer is definitely probably coming next turn. Alright, pair of swamps. And no way to stop their board from like just flattening me like a pancake either. If I do that, I can tap for 3, 4 mana. That doesn't do me any good. I think it's Haunt of Hightower. Just there's no other thing that I can really do here. Because at least with this, if I have to, I can run it into front of something and gain the life back. That's Slumlord. Okay. 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to go to 7. 6. Oh, that's not great. Let's do Drana. Let's do Adaptive Automaton. Where is it? Yeah, it's the Automaton. That leaves us with 3 mana, naming Vamps. 3 mana. Let's do Veto off the 3 mana. Let's do Shieldred's Edict. Let's hit the non-token creature. That'll get the Haunt to go ahead and grow a little bit. So we can get the most out of Veto. So the rat colony dies. They'll get a rat token, but it's not a rat colony. And then Haunt's gonna attack. We'll go ahead and just get the the life gain and the life loss off of veto, because now it's a race. If they got removal, they didn't. Alright, so it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, they didn't swing with the Slumlord. Okay. Swing, bada swing. Here comes my vampires. Alright. We survived the rats. It's Agatha. Alright. Yeah, we'll try this hand. It's got a good low end and a good mid. So ideally, we'd be able to drop the pariah and go right into the haunt, and then leave these little guys around to throw into the Voldaren pariah and like supercharge the Haunt of Hightower. All right, there's Agatha. They're not gonna block like that much, I know. And we're now getting into some good 3 and 4 drops, so we actually have a curve if we can draw the lands. So now we can go 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm not expecting to draw all those lands, but all right. So they're killing our fodder. That's a problem. So let's just drop veto. This will get them for 2. If they swing with Agatha, I'm not blocking because they probably have instant speed ways of boosting or at least putting a counter on her. Alright, so there is... Do I do Kalitas or do I do the Scavenger? That is the question. I think I do this because it's got a bigger body attached to the bottom end of it. I'm going to go ahead and swing with this. Because again, I don't expect them to block with either one of those creatures. Not against a Death Toucher. That just gives us a nice amount of fodder to keep around. So now we just got to tap deck a couple of lands. If we don't, we have Nighthawk Scavenger as the consolation prize. Alright, Skargan Hellkite is a problem, because then they can activate it for 2. So that leaves Vampire of the Dire Moon in a very bad position. Because it puts 2 counters on Kalitas if we sacrifice a vampire, or is it 1? It's 2. Alright, so we're just gonna swing both of these in. We'll see what they do block-wise. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and just let that hit. Because that's a good amount of drain. And then I'm going to end the turn. Because if they decide to use the Skargan Hellkite's ability to shoot the Vampire of the Dire Moon, I can just feed it into Kalitas. And if they try to do like a double activation to try to kill Kalitas, I can just do the same thing. So either way, I can sacrifice a vampire to boost him up in response to the second activation or the first, whatever they're trying to do. Okay, so in response, yeah, this is what I was expecting, was a shot across the bow there. I'm going to go ahead and activate here. Because they could have done tried to do 4 damage to Kalitas, but then I would have done the same thing. I would have sacrificed the Vampire of the Dire Moon to keep it alive. I'm seeing a lot of the same cards that I have in one of my variations on Agatha for like activated abilities. Okay, so we have a 5/6, a 2/2, and a 2/2. Or I could play that. There's a variety of things I could do with this. By swing Kalitas, they can double block, and then I'd have to sacrifice Veto. But if they don't block, this could kill them. there's a world of hurt coming their way. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I'm going to play this. No attacks, because I don't want them double blocking and killing Kalitas just yet. I have plans. Okay. So now they can smash the Herald's Horn. And gain 5 life. That's probably what they're doing, because they're getting on the low side, especially with Veto hanging around. Yeah, it's like I read their mind. All right, the Herald's Horn served its purpose, though. I got to get the Scavenger out for the same turn. There wasn't a better play in my hand, because I didn't want to tip my hand on the Voldaren Pariah. All right, there's the Plaza. Problem with that is they can draw or do the thing. I'm trying to think what the good play here is. Because then I could sacrifice the 3 of them, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to play this. I'm going to see if they decide they want to try to double shoot the Haunt. And then that has reach. They could do it. I doubt they'll do it, but really? Okay. I'm actually okay with that, because they lose their thing that shoots stuff, and yeah. Now this is a non-bow. I did not realize it until just now, because Kalitas exiles the stuff from the board, so the Haunt's not going to trigger on a creature death. Oh, they got my Agadeem's Awakening. And that's okay. I'm just trying to think if there is a way to gain enough life. Bone Shards is pretty good, because we could discard the Voldaren Pariah. Play Bishop. Hit them. Swing with Kalitas and the Haunt. I'm just trying to think, is there a way to deal enough damage in terms of life gain versus what I can drain out of them? Let's play the Bishop. This will hit them for 4. They'll put them to 10. I can Bone Shards the Titan of Industry. Or actually, what am I doing? I can sacrifice the zombie. What am I thinking? Get rid of their flying block. Think that's lethal, because the Haunt is going to go to a 5/5. Or, no, he won't. But the lifelink will finish him off with Veto. So never mind. The discard will happen. The discard will allow us... Yeah. Kalitas and him kind of get funky. But yeah, the flying blocks will allow me to... or the swing. So that's going to be 9 lifelink damage. They lose 9, and then they die. Well, 4 damage, 9 lifelink, then they die. Because 4 is guaranteed to get through. Good game. And then the drains will happen, and kaboom. All right, Veto went the distance for us on this game. Big time. So, That's pretty good. I don't know what the hang up here is, though. Oh, just probably the server. Alright, so lifelink and veto does matter with this deck. Borbogymos and Fblthp. So this is going to be a deck probably full of lands and combo pieces, because that's the only way I've ever seen that deck built. And we got an okay start. We got some mana rocks removal, card draw. Not spectacular, though. Alright, they didn't do anything. We'll go ahead and just ramp. There's no reason to kick out the Dust Legion Zealot just yet, because we could double spell next turn. So that lets them play lands off the top of their deck, and they have a land on top of their deck. I don't think I care. Do I? I care enough to get rid of the Courser, because it's kind of a pain in the butt. It's got too big of a butt on it to punch through with most of the vampires in the deck, and there's no reason to have to use Meathook Massacre to try to get rid of it in a little bit. Plus, they might play some other little dink that... Yeah, see, now they got another thing I gotta deal with. I think at this point it's gonna be Dusk Legion Zealot and Aristocrat. It's not a bad thing. Let's go ahead and make them discard something. Let's get rid of... We'll go with the Throne. Because they're in green, so they likely have enchantment and artifact removal, and I'm not, spectacular with that. If they take a swing at Liliana, we'll stick the Dusk Legion Zealot in front of it, and I'll sack it to the Aristocrat to make it bigger. Okay, that's a big boy. Definitely need to get rid of that. That makes me wonder what I can do to get rid of it. Oh. I'm just trying to think if it's smarter to do the Aristocrat in front of the Oracle and then do this. I'd lose both, but then I'd be able to eat the Vorinclex with the Liliana. Yeah, I think we'll do it this way. So that'll put a counter on that. Oracle dies. And then I can minus Liliana to force the sack so they don't get to use the Vorinclex. And then I will just play Haunt of Hightower. Alright. Any number of lands. Oh. Okay. Oops. Okay, that worked out beautifully. Alright, we'll try this. So we're going up against Acererak the Archlich, which means we're going to have some combo wombo going on over there. They got something, because it hung up for like a split second, so they probably have like Fatal Push or something of that nature. I'm gonna play the Nighthawk Scavenger because I'd rather have Drana live if they got a 1-mana burnout. Okay, they're just ramping up to their mana potential, so to speak. Alright, let's just go with the Sanctum Seeker at this point. Get our ping and drain on, because we gotta try to get them dead before they start doing the free combo with Acererak and like infinite mana triggers and other weirdness that deck can pull off. So they're tapped out. I think Icon of Ancestry is going to be the play here. Just, again, just to get as much damage rolling off on the board. So, Vamp. And we'll go ahead and just use the mana to play the Drana. Just to be as mana efficient as possible, because they could have a board wipe too coming at us. Alright. And I mean, I'm fully expecting something. No. Okay, they didn't have the board wipe. Now, what is the next chapter? Twisted Cavern. So they could replay that in Twisted Cavern, the Sanctum Seeker, to keep it from attacking. Or the Drama. I mean, you're dead, regardless, because of the pings off the Sanctum Seeker. That's the thing. So this went a lot smoother than my last game. Like, I literally just spent my last game just sitting here for probably a good 20 minutes with a Shalai deck that had hexproof to them, hexproof to all their creatures, indestructibility for all their creatures. Just, it was ridiculous. I'm not showing that game because it was so long and boring. Olivia. Alright, so now we have black-red vampires, which I might actually put that version together with the whole madness thing, because when I did black-red vampires last year, we didn't have the Shadows over Innistrad set available that's now in the system. What are you crying for? So I could do Sauron, Voldar, and Pariah this coming turn. Could also do Leona of the Veil. And just take out the Bloodcaster, which that appeals to me more than trying to sneak a 5-drop onto the board.
This is my home, and I don't appreciate it when people...
So they'll get their blood token, which, I mean, does probably help them out, because then they get their madness ability off of the blood tokens. And even Arterial Flow might help them if I don't get them when they're tapped down. Discard a card, game's lifeline. Oh, that gives them a discard outlet too. Alright. So... This is a 3/3. I'm just trying to think through the lines of, like, what's the best way to handle this? I think it's going to be play Sauron and then drop the Voldar and Pariah off of it.
Defeating you will not bring you pleasure, nor pain. I guess you...
And then we'll go ahead and, why they only have 1 mana open, so they're not going to be able to,
We all have things we'd rather forget.
Goof with all that. Well, luckily they can't burn a Planeswalker, so I'm okay with that. And yeah, we'll go ahead and attack. They can't block, so... We'll mitigate that burn damage that they just did. The Pariah can block the Cabal Initiate. So that's not coming anywhere near us. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do the Heraldic Banner, and then I'll drop the Knight of the Ebon Legion. We'll plus Sauron, put a counter on the Voldar and Pariah. So now it's big enough to withstand Olivia's shenanigans. I don't want to discard the Arterial Flow. They'll just sacrifice the Cabal in this shit. Hmm. Let's swing first. We'll send the Pariah through. Get our lifelink going there. And then let's just... Yeah, Liliana's going to be toast anyway, so let's just go ahead and make them sack that into shit.
Luck favors the foolish, after all.
One of your friends has to leave.
Alright, so forgot about that trigger, so that works out nicely. And then I still have my arterial flow, so I'm hoping they tap down to play something, you know, big enough where they can't madness something off of it. Okay, perfect. They drop Bantus. That's pretty nutty. Do I care enough? No. So. Alright, so good. They're tapped out. So we're going to go ahead and nuke their hand. That'll take out 2/3 of the cards in their hand, which included some removal spells. We're just going to go face. If I get one more creature on the board and pay into the Voldaren Pariah, I can flip it and just remove all their stuff by getting the triple sack counter. But right now we're looking at Haunt of Hightower as the play. I mean, you could swing. I got plenty of life to work with. Alright. Well, there's Nykthos. Yeah. Just haunt it up. This is what? Sacrifice 3 others. That would nuke 3 creatures. And then I could swing in. We'll pass the turn. We'll wait. I want to see what they do. Honestly, I don't want to sacrifice the Haunt of Hightower if I don't have to. Because the whole idea is to have it be one of the surviving creatures. Alright, there's the Tenured Inkcaster. I'm going to put the counter on the Voldaren Bloodcaster. Is actually where it's going to go. Because then everything will have a counter on it when I swing. So yeah, we're just going to swing. This will be like ping, ping, ping. Haunt gets bigger. And then if I triple sack, keep the Haunt alive, they'd have to block the thing. They would lose everything. It's a Sauron, the Dark Lord. Sure, we'll try this. The last time I had veto in a game, it basically won me the game because of the Haunt of Hightower being big enough to just do massive chunks of burn damage. But we have removal, so if they play a blocker on one, we can always burn it out. Next turn, we're probably going to do Bantus, because there's no point in putting out veto to get destroyed by a removal spell. Plus the Bantus makes everything cheaper, so we'll just go with that. Plus, if they want to stop me from gaining life, you know, killing that should be their priority. Alright. We're just going to go with the Westgate region, because it's just that good of a card. And I love it. It's so thematic, because if they want to get rid of it, they have to discard a card, and if the Haunt is out, then it makes the Haunt bigger. It's just it's a great vampire, just in general. It's shielded. It's a dead shielded, because no. I'm not taking that damage. Thanks, have a nice day. Yeah, we'll play the Prophet. Why not? Like, I would have rather had the Haunt of Hightower out, but it's just like, yeah, no, I hate Shieldred. One more permanent, and we're good. Uh-oh. Well, they can turn my Westgate region into a treasure, which that's probably what they're going to do. That sucks, but they get a card out of them at the very least. Alright, but there's my permanent that I need. It's like, do I veto and Bloodcaster, or do I... I guess we haunt. Actually, she can go here, and they can go there. What am I tapping? Oh, I was like, what am I tapping for that? We'll go with this, because if they wipe the board, at least then I get the blood. I mean, there's something to be said for hanging on to it to chain with Veto just to get an extra little bit of damage out of it, but... Alright, there's Sauron. Take 3 to the dome. Veto. And the thing is like all my stuff flies, so it's coming across for lethal anyways. So what did you guys think? I had a lot of fun with the deck, but I have to say it feels like it's lacking something. It's probably lacking the things that I have in my paper variation on the Haunt of Hightower. I do have a paper one actually built in my bag. I'm probably going to put that list up just as a good Halloween video here. But it's missing some old cards that we don't have access to in Arena, including Pox, Smallpox, Death Cloud. There's a bunch of cards that just really make this card tick in paper. Plus, you get the commander damage aspect of the Haunt as well, and you can just one-shot somebody out of nowhere. So, but that said, what do you guys think? What would you add to the deck? What would you take out of the deck? You know, what commander would you run in place of it if you weren't going to run the Haunt of Hightower in the front and build it around him instead? So let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching. Stay tuned. More Brawl-o-ween videos are coming.